All right, welcome to the Recruiter Startup Podcast. Making his debut today, the international man of mystery, the enigma, Meran Stephan from Karma. What Karma what?
KarmaTech.
Karma Chameleon, that's what you are, lad.
Karma Chameleon. Thanks for having me, Delta. I really appreciate it.
So, international man of mystery. I tell you, somebody says to me, can you tell me about Meran, describe him. I couldn't, I would say if MI5 were to hire somebody, you would be the perfect profile.
Yeah.
Like I could see you fitting in England, fitting in France, kind of got a bit of that francophone thing happening. And then I can see it fitting in over in the Arab world as well. Like,
yeah.
Walk us through how did this amalgamation of a person come about?
Well, yeah, it's an interesting one on the MI5 because that's what my dad wanted me to do, by the way. So when I was in uni, he was like, yo, you need to apply. But, you know, when you're in uni, you just want to have a good time, don't you? So, like, I even met a guy, he was from GCHQ. I met him at my university. He came to the uni. And he was like talking to me, and then he asked me about the dialects. He's like, so how many dialects can you speak? So I spoke to him in like 3-4 dialects.
Wow.
He gave me
what dialects? Like what?
So there's like the Egyptian dialect, which is obviously there's different pronunciations. So you pronounce words differently than say the Gulf dialect, or the Gulf dialect might be, you know, people from like the UAE, Saudi, but even within the Gulf, they have different dialects. And then obviously you've got the Levant. So you've got like, you know, people from like, you know, Lebanon, Syria, they have a different dialect. So we just had a chat. He gave me his card, but as you know, I wasn't really sober most of the time. So can't remember what he looked like.
The recruitment world opened their arms and their hearts to you and welcomed you in like every other lost soul in our industry.
Yeah. It's interesting actually, because everyone thinks I'm Irish. And so when they hear me on the phone, especially the American clients, you know, they love an Irish headhunter. So that goes a long way.
Yeah, it's the Middle European private school that I can hear. It's a
private school. Yeah. It's it was an international school.
Yeah.
But all the schools in Abu Dhabi are private. So yeah, just to answer your question, obviously I was born and raised in Abu Dhabi. Mum and dad were expats. They were in oil and gas, and I went to a school with, you know, Europeans, also Arabs, all sorts. So that's how I became to be me, I guess.
The enigma.
The enigma.
Good on you. All right, so I suppose let's jump into it. We have how did this bromance come about?
Oh, me and you?
Yeah.
Well, as soon as you shaved your head, bro, that was it. That was it. No, but it was but I really enjoyed the mastermind, and I enjoyed your approach. Obviously, you and Charlotte as well. Yeah, like I said, as soon as the hair went, we became like this, bro.
So you give people a bit of insight into your recruitment journey to date.
Cool. Yeah. So I started off in education recruitment. I think it's a good place to start because it's an uphill battle, you know? So I think because I was dealing with further education colleges up in the Northwest. So up in the Northwest of the UK. So, you know, the likes of Berry College, Rochdale, all, you know, Bolton, whatever it may be. And they don't really like recruiters, I guess. Like, I don't know. So I started there, but I had a sales background. So I kept it, you know, quite sort of systematic. I was just sort of volume, numbers, volume, numbers. But there wasn't really any craft to it. It was just
got a job. Got a job.
Yeah. Just it was a typical recruitment environment. So it was like a lot of micromanagement, a lot of, you know, really useless meetings. You know, like the 8:30 in the morning meeting just to, you know, set some goals. It just wasn't. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best place. I'll be honest. But it was good. I met some nice sort of people there, and I guess now in hindsight, it teaches you what not to do, if you know what I mean. But it was long, and there was because obviously we were doing education. There was a lot of unnecessary tasks that they were giving us. So you have like, you know, compliance, GDPR. What are those?
Sounds like a heavy administrative type role.
Yeah. But as a salesperson, admin for me was the worst. I mean, even in the last role, which I think my recruitment knowledge really sort of accelerated. I was part of a really great firm, had really good leadership, really good team members. They sort of took all that stuff away from you. But even then, I was still doing a lot of, like, I had a problem with admin, so I wouldn't update the CRM. I wouldn't put any notes into the CRM. I'm sales. I hate admin. I think it's not just me. I think it's a lot of people who have this.
I'm about the same. So I just get my VA to do all of that. So they know to coordinate that. I'll just voice note whatever it was, and then I'll have like systems and all the rest to make them do stuff. I think I might be just a bit dyslexic, and I find it harder than most people.
To be fair, to be fair, I wouldn't say. I'm not sure if it's a dyslexia thing for me. I think it's just like an attention thing. Like it's not stimulating for me at all to do admin stuff. And like, I don't know how people get a kick out of it, but
like my wife gets a kick out of it. She enjoys it. But I think if you are like that, you have to find a fail safe of somebody doing it for you. And that's absolutely what we've done. So you were part of a really good group on the mastermind. What other type of founders were you mixing with? In your mastermind group?
So what other founders? So there was a mixed bag. I think you had, people like Adam who had like a couple of people. They were a bit further along in the process. He had like a team of maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And then he had Shane who was still an employee.
He was
for a match, which I thought was brilliant, because in a way I think if I had done the mastermind before I started, I think it would have been interesting. But and then there was people like myself as well, who were just a one-man band, and they've been sort of doing recruitment for quite some time. They felt like maybe like they hit a brick wall, and they wanted some sort of guidance, which I think is key. But I honestly think that something like the mastermind should not just be a one-off. It should be a consistent thing throughout your whole career, whichever career you decide to, whichever career path you do, whether it be recruitment or sales or accounting, whatever it may be. And that, by the way, is one of the things which I found really valuable at the last company I worked at. Like for them and for me, I think personal development is so important. And just to continue that.
Yeah, but when you're a solopreneur or an early stage entrepreneur.
Solopreneur, nice.
Yeah, that's a good word, isn't it?
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole thing on it, because, there's some academic arguments that solopreneurs are freelancers because they're not creating anything outside of themselves. They're just doing the work. So anyway, the term that people have kind of landed on is solopreneur. But
by the way, it's an interesting point on that, because I think that's true. I think in some cases, if you decide to be a solopreneur forever, it's actually worse than having a business, or it's worse than being an employee, because you do everything, and it can be really, really draining. And I think the sooner you try and create a system for someone else, which is why I said the holiday's over for me now. I've really enjoyed being on my own without managing anyone, but I think now I need to sort of pass that on, because I think the longer I leave it, the less trust I'll have in people, whoever comes into my business.
I suppose there's different approaches to what it is. Like, so I always like the few examples. So you have your typical UK scalable model, which is get the rookies in and train them, and accept that there's going to be a certain amount of turnover 18 months. And like, you've worked in that environment and it works, and it gets you further away, and you have to do some hard yards in the office with other people, but ultimately you get there a bit quicker, depending on your shareholding agreement and all the rest. Then you have, let's say, the Joe Mullings approach, which we've had him as a special guest on the mastermind.
I was on that.
He was awesome, wasn't he? He was
good. He was really good.
I think I want to be Joe Mullings.
He was brilliant. He was just his approach. And I think what I found really interesting about him was the salaries that he was paying for senior recruiters. And it's like, okay, he does not want people to leave, but then having that, he's paying them like a lot. He's giving them a lot of bonuses, but he's also he's not limiting them, but he's putting them in a position where they could leave, but they don't. And that's a science. That's a science for sure.
So to describe that to somebody, it's almost just like an executive search Christmas tree, where he is the ecosystem, he is the epicenter. He does a lot of media. The clients are his clients. He has a couple of rainmakers. Their clients are their clients as well as part of the Mullings group.
Yeah.
And then everybody else facilitates. Now in the UK, we call that resourcers, but in his business, he looks at it and values them in a different way. Like the senior recruiters are highly paid, but let's say they wanted to move somewhere else. They're not bringing the client list with them, or the BD side. They're not bringing a lot of that. So his business is a lot safer because of that model. But you have to love the craft for it. So unlike the UK scalable model where you can just work yourself out and go do something else, he's still at the top of the Christmas tree. Now, mind, that's where he wants to be, makes a ton of cash, and it worked for him. But he's still, like, if he gets hit by a bus tomorrow, like, that business isn't the same business as opposed to like the UK one where if one of the directors gets knocked off, no problem. We can get another one there. And then we have another guest speaker who comes in called Rich Rosen, and he's the solopreneur.
Yes, I like him.
Yeah, but again, it's down to the mindset of the person. So he's happy to be that person who just wants to do all the work, keep all the control, uses the best tech, is best in class at everything he does, but he does it.
Yes.
And
what I liked about him, so just to interject, what I liked about him is that I think, which is a common thing, I think a lot of people in a lot of industries, but I'm happy that this is the case in recruitment. I feel like I don't like to overcomplicate stuff. So when listening to him, knowing that he just does the basics really well, and that's call candidates, call clients, get the job spec properly. He doesn't use all this different technology. He just uses his phone. He uses, obviously he has Sourcewell or whatever, whichever one he does use.
He uses Crelate, Sourcewell, a load of data finders, but he's never off. And
and that for me gave I don't want to be dramatic and say gave me hope, but it gave me some sort of comfort knowing that I'm doing the right thing, because it's just a basic, everybody has their own tweak on a system, how to get candidates, how to get clients, how to make introductions, what questions you ask within the job spec, whatever it may be, what questions to ask candidates to get the most out of them. But at the end of the day, the basic equation is still very, very, similar to just, doing things in a basic manner. And I really like that. And also that, going back to Joe Mullings, I also went to Joe Mullings as well, because I asked him, I said, this is the way that I bring on business. I go into a company with a candidate. Is that still the best way? And he said, that's still the best way. That's for new business. That's the best way to do it. And that again gave me. He
had a caveat to that answer, though, if I remember.
Yeah, he did.
It was, if it plays alongside you offering media value to the marketplace. So I've been to his offices in Delray Beach. We placed somebody with him, and typical recruitment office, and then you go into the media studio. So it's like a newsroom. And he took me through it and all the rest. It was just phenomenal. And you can see that he's the guy that flies all around, does the keynote speaking events, and takes in all those retainers, and then feeds that to everybody. So while he's saying, yes, where you're at, do that, but he made a conscious decision to steer into that, and that's part of his journey. So but where people go wrong when they set up is they try and be Joe Mullings from day one, that's
what I did.
Yeah.
Wow. Looking back,
and really, it's day one. You're Rich Rosen, you are Rich Rosen.
Exactly. That's the best way to describe it.
If you want, you can either be that scalable founder in the UK, or you could be Joe Mullings, or you could continue to be Rich Rosen, but you have to try and be Rich Rosen at the start.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And at the beginning, that's what I was trying to experiment. I was doing loads of different things, and what I was doing, I was really consistent, to be fair, for 9 months. I had, Tuesday I would do LinkedIn written posts, and then on the Wednesday I would do a video. On that video, I would have recorded it on the Sunday.
Yeah.
And the cringe factor never left. It was I used to think hey guys, good morning. Today I'm going to be speaking about following up. This is what you need to do. Here's how you do it. Okay, key points. And I did loads of research on how to deliver messages, like all that sort of stuff. The idea was correct, but the content it was just wrong. Now, moving forward, I know the Joe Mullings model is obviously you have like an SME or subject matter expert, and to a certain extent, I think Joe Mullings is what he's creating. He's sort of he's creating like a sales engineer for every area which he recruits for. So he has like a pre-sales or a sales engineer in like the software world, which I think is brilliant. But I agree. I think from day one, Rich Rosen, that's the way to be for sure. And then build yourself into that for sure.
Cringeable posting to sell stuff is tough, right? Because like I'm like you, I like a bit of crack with it. But so there's, for me to like scale or mastermind, I have to make it a little bit more video centric with the group sessions, and I have to follow the Sam Ovens formula, which basically kind of means I have to do all these cringeable, like, if you want to get rich today, you just have to do this. So follow up, and that kind of breaks my heart a little bit. And my marketing team are on me, like they're like, you're the worst influencer for this ever. And my wife, I can't even get her to come on my podcast. Like, so it's really hard because like I know like the formula out there works. It's just if I could do that without cringing, it's hard, isn't it? So finding that mix of authenticity with a professional crafted post that works is tricky. I've noticed that our friend Richard Gibbard's posts have got a lot better recently. I don't know if you've been following it, but his stuff got really good, and he's got
a great sense of humor, for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think he brought that out in his posts before recently, and now when I'm watching him online, I'm like, wow, you're really killing it. So
well, I think there's a psychological thing. Maybe I don't know if Rich knows this or not, but I don't know where I got this from, but I think if you add a bit of humor to anything, even in your pitch. So for me, or let's just use Rich Gibbard's example. I think when he releases something with a bit of humor in it, if you're quite a cautious buyer, if you first watch the video if there's no humor in it, you've still got your guard up. Humor naturally, whether we like it or not, we're wired to drop our guard. So that's why I think that humor is even a little bit of it. And it's funny actually, because I did actually do a video a few months ago about humor in sales. It was a really cringy video, but it does work, like even if you're like on an opening cold call with a client or a candidate, or within the client conversation, taking on a job spec, if you can break a little bit, you don't have to go out your way, but it does work for sure, because it drops the guard.
What kind of humor can you drop into like an opening chat? Like walk me through it.
Hi, good morning, Dalta. We haven't spoken before. I'm a headhunter. Would you like to roll the dice? The amount of laughs I've had off that, it's like, I can't use the exact words, but like, who the hell is that guy? You know what I mean?
The Americans would love it though, right?
Americans love it. Brits are like, sorry, mate. Nah. Yeah. Man. I think, Have
you got any others?
No, I think that's the one I've used. That's the one I've used most on cold calls. Like, hi, we haven't spoken before. This is a cold call. Would you like to roll the dice? And the Americans love it. Yeah, sure, I'll roll that dice. 100%. God bless America. I'm rolling that dice. God damn, I'm winning. You bet. Let's go.
Apologies to the Americans.
Sorry, guys. We love you. All. But I agree with it for sure. But by the way, I was going to ask, because I think when it comes to like sharing content and stuff, even with like on the business side, I feel like at the end of the day, I don't know, I'd like to get your thoughts, but at the end of the day, obviously with our job, we can do all the media and all that sort of stuff as much as we can. But if we can't get a job spec, or if we can't fulfill a job, like, is there really any benefit of doing one or the other? If you know what I mean? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in the podcast system, and I did that with Rich in a live example. So when he came in to help us in our business, I was like, look, here's what I kind of want to happen. Podcast goes to data, goes to guests, like pitch, bring them back in. Like, then I do the podcast, all of this. I was like, how do I make this happen? So he was able to kind of go, okay, so here's the tools that you use. Here's my data guy. Here's Lemlist, and here's the process. So I suppose what I learned from that and running the podcast for so long is that if you get an hour in somebody's diary and it's just to get to know them, and you know that they hire and they have the keys to everything, that if you're a good guy and you do good work, sooner or later, that's going to turn into a commercial relationship. And especially in that there, if you're like, look, thanks very much for coming on. As you know, I'm a headhunter. If you need anything, let me know. I'd love to work with you. If we could have a follow-up meeting on that, let me know. And just see where that goes after you've given the value without being a sleazy salesperson. But I mean, it's our job. Like if you've got an hour with somebody and it's about them, it's not about you. Like you've already understand the business. You already understand their journey. You already have a rapport. You're in a much better position. And you have then, when that media goes out there, their competitors are seeing that. And if you're working with them or not, their competitors are going to think you're working with them. So then when you approach the next person, at least you've got brand credibility. And then if you have 3 of them on, you can then use that and bring that to market. And I think, like, as long as the media, and I always get on to Charlotte for this, she does the worst polls I have ever seen. Like, what type of cheese would you like on your bread? I'm like, what's the point in this? This is just like, you're just wasting. She's like, no, it's good for the analytics. And it's not. Like, it's good for like bread eaters out there or cheese eaters. Like it doesn't, like, it has to be the right type of stuff. So if your media is in your niche and it is to build relationships and to create attention of the people that you're hiring, and it's adding value.
Yeah.
Like, because if what do we have as recruiters? So we have knowledge in terms of like what it takes to get people into a business. We have an audience, and we should be able to advise on employer branding as we're getting a bit more evolved. And they're all things that we can discuss on podcasts with clients. So I think it's the best, and we have experience interviewing people. Like, that's what we're trained to do that, right? So for me, it's one of the biggest underutilized area of doing it. Now, it is time consuming, so you need to find a way to outsource that, like editing, all of that. You need to have somebody in your business in charge of copywriting, in charge of like finding the right people to approach with. There's a whole, as you know, there's a whole system to making it right. But that's the secret sauce, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I see a lot. Well, not a lot actually. I've seen a few who do a couple within my space, and because obviously when you ask, you know, like a hiring manager to do a podcast, they know the deal. You know, I mean, they surely they know, and if they don't, they're probably in the wrong job. But they know if you're approaching them about a podcast, which is interesting, because obviously if they know at some point you're going to ask them for work, or they're going to need your services. Yeah. So I think it's a good way to, you know, to break the ice. But like you said, I think you need some sort of, like, you need to outsource it, or you need a team, or even just one person to control, you know, getting the guests on, doing all the editing, doing all that.
Because if you get lost in it and you're early, and you're not doing the Rich Rosen stuff, you're not going to make money, because it's a longer play. So like, we've been podcasting for a number of years, and I've kind of ramped it up, ramped it down. It's there consistently, but not like the epicenter of my week. And like, I'll do a load this in the next few weeks now, trying to just catch it and fire it up again. But you could, if you don't have all the stuff that we have in play, it could be an awful waste of time. And for us, it's helped us build the RecWired community. And how wild are those parties, by the way?
Yeah, brilliant. When's the next one?
Man, we had the agency expo after party. Charlotte was hosting it, and
was it any good?
Do you think recruitment founders are wild? Man, the next day I was in the bar the next day. Charlotte was speaking, so I have a new hire who's joining us, and we flew her over, and so her and Arena were sitting there having drinks. She was actually behaving herself. Me and Arena were having drinks, and I was like to the barman, "Oh, so the event last night, you know, what did you make of it?" He was like, recruitment people are mental. Like that was the craziest group of people we've ever had in here.
No way.
And it was like everybody was crazy.
Where was
like,
that? Where? Which bar or which hotel?
Is it the Olympia, the place where they hold the expo? Isn't that what it's called? Or
Not sure.
There's a bar just across the street from it.
Okay.
And you had every recruitment vendor, and we had a load of people from the mastermind and the dinghy turn up, and they know if we put our stamp on it, it's going to be a good night out. Oh man, it took me a week to recover. I can't be dealing with these things.
No, it was really good. It was really good. Yeah.
So let me ask a couple of questions.
Go on.
You got to work with my wife. How would you describe her?
One word, or can I use like?
Don't call her a weapon and just leave it at that. You know?
No. I think she's very meticulous. She is honest, which is, I think, really important. So I think if you ask her questions, she'll give you an honest answer, which I think in what you guys do, I think is really, really key. And also very, very sort of like friendly, and gives out a lot of sort of positive energy, if you know what I mean, which I think we need in this space. When I say space, I mean recruitment. So
she headlocks you. She rips your head off. She picks you back up. She puts you together, and then she says, "You're going to do much better next time. I'm with you."
Good job. Yeah.
How that
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You said that.
How that translates into recruitment speak is, Meran doesn't like admin, and is on the phone all day, and she's like, "Hey, this is great, but I need to get all the other stuff in your business working while you're on the phone."
Exactly. Yeah.
People like me and you find it hard to connect this button to this button.
And no, I think she was brilliant, to be honest with you. She's really helped. I mean, both of you, but I think if you're asking about Charlotte, she's helped my business like accelerate a lot. So yeah, I'm going to be applying
talk to me
over the next
about you're going to hire somebody now. I was pushing you to hire way earlier. But like you were like, I'm kind of having a good time. I'm enjoying my business. I'm enjoying my experience. Like this is a good time. But I was worried you'd get stale, and because I've been there, right? And when you're not, don't have other people around you, and let's say you're not in a mastermind, there's no accountability. Again,
you're right.
I've like, for me in my week, like we have three group meetings with our team of freelancers and like permanent staff, and their morning meetings are very structured. They're not horrible, but they're semi-accountable, like where we're at and all the rest. And that like puts it on to me to be like, okay, what do we need to do as a business? And then I can structure my week then around that. But if I didn't have that, it was just me, I'd be looking at the clock and I'd be thinking, do I have jiu-jitsu tonight, or can I open up a bottle of wine?
Yeah, I'm the same, but with football. Yeah.
Am
I playing football, or am I going to football? So yeah, I'm exactly the same.
Am I watching football?
Yeah. No, but I completely agree. And like I said, I was enjoying my time towards the back end of last year, not having responsibility, being able to work from anywhere. But yeah, I'm going to be hiring two VAs in June.
Oh, good on you.
If I can hire them before, I've got adverts going out for the 1st of March. So if I can hire them before, great. But I know it's going to be a process. You're interviewing and stuff like that. But yeah, fun and games are over. So I have big goals for this year. So part of that is to hire two people, which I'm excited about, because I agree. I think if you don't like I don't want to contradict myself and say that you want to be doing like too much, but you should be taking steps, and part of that is hiring or trying out new technology or trying out new ways of recruitment, whether that be, speaking to calling candidates first and messaging second, or messaging first, calling second, email first. Like, do you know what I mean? Should always be trying to improve. So yeah, it'll be happening.
A VA is a VA, or a remote recruiter, as I like to call it, like who's not, let's say it's a person who's second language English speaker, remote recruiter.
Sure.
I think that is a brilliant first hire because there isn't any big risk in it. You kind of can cut your teeth with managing individuals and their schedule, and you get to analyze your own processes and go, okay, so I'm working 50 hours a week. What am I doing in the 50 hours? Okay, which bits of this could I give away? Scheduling, interviews, bit of sourcing, bit of like there's so much. So all of a sudden you've given away 30 hours of it because you're not going to be on the phone for, if you were to look at your phone logs, you're not going to be on the phone for 10 hours a week. Like if you're, I can't see it. So then that, what it does is it facilitates you to do more and more and more. But once you get that done, then you have to go, okay, who's going to really drive revenue? And then you look to get the proper recruiter in as well. Or you might get lucky like we did with Arena over years, and they become a full 360, or Andrea. But I think that's a long road from VA to that. So it's really exciting times for you. What do you think they're going to do for you in your business? Like, do you have a plan for that yet? Or
yeah, so I have, because at the moment I think I've found that the limit for me is working with 4 different clients at one time. I think that's my max, really, and even then I'm stretched. I mean, look, if I wanted to work every day till 10 p.m. and have no life, yeah, okay, I could do more, but I don't think that's what life's definitely not about.
And MI5 wouldn't allow that as well.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, of course.
I know you're pretending you're not a spy, but I still think,
yeah,
I think this is all fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they asked me to choose an industry I wanted to work in. I just thought, what's the one that's gonna really, smash your emotions, just smash it into me. I just thought I'll just go for that one. So yeah, no, I think I just think all the boring stuff, like, like setting up new business campaigns, doing just like,
give it away, give it all away, lad.
Yeah, like, setting up new business campaigns, taking data from LinkedIn onto Excel into Lemlist, sorting out my CRM. Basically, I'm looking at the end goal and working backwards. And the end goal for me is a client and candidate facing. That's it. Brilliant. I just want to be speaking to clients and candidates, and then all the rest.
And anybody who has a bigger agency who's listening to this, it's exactly the same. You have to think of, like, what are you putting onto your consultants right now? Like, are you getting them to do all this convoluted stuff with loads of different tech? And are they spending all their time sending emails and messages on LinkedIn and then doing this, like, some video messaging and all of this? Or are they actually engaging with their candidates and clients in meaningful discussion? And if that's the case, what can you get as a business owner? What can you take off their plate and give it to, like, somebody who's just an admin centric? Let the revenue producers produce is the key.
Yeah. Because I'll be honest, that's my strength. My strength is speaking to clients, speaking to candidates. I know it's such a cliche thing. Oh, I enjoyed speaking to people, man. That's why I'm in recruitment. I love people, I mean, let's be honest. The reason why I'm in recruitment is because, yes, it's hard work, it's lucrative, and you can sort of use that money to do other stuff. Yeah. That's for me anyway. But I think,
and you can live anywhere in the world. Like, wherever you spend time. You were spending time in, was it Mallorca or something like that this year? Or?
No, I went to Ibiza last year for like nearly a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you do any work? Did you?
To be fair, I did. I honestly did. Monday to Wednesday, Monday to Thursday morning. I was doing just in the mornings. Yeah, I was, to be fair. But because that was my first year, honestly, Delta, my first 12 months, I was like, I didn't mess about. I was reading books every morning, every lunchtime. I was doing yoga in the afternoon. I was exercising,
Sorry, mate, this isn't
cut that out. Yo, cut the yoga out.
This isn't a dating channel. Forget about the Twitter swindler we have there, the Tinder swindler. We have him here live, the LinkedIn swindler.
The LinkedIn swindler, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question,
name of the episode right there, the LinkedIn swindler.
The LinkedIn swindler, yeah. I give you permission. Go for it. Yeah. But yeah, no, all jokes aside, that's the goal for me. It's just to continue to do the client and candidate stuff. Because I'll be honest, my system, it's really easy to replicate. Like, it's not difficult at all. Anybody can do it. It's just a matter of, putting it into action. Yeah, I mean, like it's still a work in progress, but
Yeah.
you know, the core foundations of it is it's really, really basic, like how to approach candidates and how to approach clients, how many touch points, where are those touch points, when do you stop, all of these things, you know, it's
Never.
basic, basic stuff.
Use me or
Yeah.
block me. Ah.
Two no's, let him go.
All right, that's us today, Meran. Thank you for working with us. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed you.
No, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. It's not going to be the end. I'm sure. I think we'll have another conversation soon. But no, I think it was brilliant. It was really, really, really helpful. It's accelerated my business. You know, it's difficult to put a number on it, but it's been really, really good. So I appreciate it all.
Put a big number on it if you're gonna. All right, buddy. Over
Good
and
man.
out. Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Delta.